My name is Allison, and my partners were John and Austin for the Glo-bus Simluation, and our company was Focus Company. Focus Company has always been a company guided by our core values and principles, a company led by a vision to serve and lead our industry by providing high-quality, affordable products and services to our valued customers. Throughout the sim, a vision to serve and lead our industry remained a core value of ours. Regardless of how well we performed year to year, we knew this was an attainable goal of ours. The reason this was possible was teamwork. We worked well together to achieve this goal, keeping it at the front of our minds throughout all of our decision making. Our mission statement says we were focused on providing high quality, affordable products and services to our valued customers. This reflects our intended strategy of low cost leadership. Low cost leadership worked well at first. In year 6, we were tied for the third lowest price and third highest PQ rating for cameras. For drones, we had the fourth lowest price and the sixth highest PQ rating. We had the highest image rating and great market share, and it looked like low-cost leadership was going to be a successful strategy for the rest of the sim. By year 9, we realized we needed to change our strategy. Our profit margins were extremely low, as were our return on equity, earnings per share, and stock price. We decided to fully embrace the strategy that we had already slightly leaned into, differentiate. By year 9, we realized we needed to change our strategy. Our profit margins were extremely low, as were our return on equity, earnings per share, and stock price. We decided to fully embrace the strategy that we had already slightly leaned into, differentiator. Our market share did not change much from year 9 to 13, but it was still strong. These numbers represent the change in year 9 to 13. Our net profits increased by 182%, EPS by 211%, and ROE by 170. Differentiator was a successful strategy for us. It did not drastically change our ranking, but the measures that we were concerned about, including our profit margin, greatly increased. Our organizational structure was very much collaborative teamwork. In the very beginning, we decided that we were most efficient working together and making all decisions together to keep us on the same page. Although we did most of the work together, we did assign a few specific roles in order to increase efficiency. Efficiency was our ultimate goal. So I focused on the Sim Journal and updated it as we met on Globus so all of our decisions were recorded and we could go back and remember what we did. John compared our decisions to other companies as we made them. This included him not sharing his screen on Globus so that he could look at the competitor comparative efforts while we were on the decision-making screens, so we did not waste time clicking back and forth between the two screens. Austin updated the competitive assumptions before we met so that we started on the right foot. He also did outside research on Globus to find more detail on possible outcomes of our decisions.
To begin, I'm going to discuss some of our strategies when it came to our value chain and our value chain analysis. Throughout the project, managing, understanding, and analyzing our value chain and the value chain of our customers was extremely integral to many of the key decisions we made throughout the simulation. Our goal while managing our value chain was to be able to maximize both inputs and outputs and to provide value to our company as well. In doing so, we are consistently analyzing our industry to understand where we can maximize market share and gain a competitive advantage on our industry. By doing this, we were able to determine our value chain allies and who our competitors were, so we were able to ensure we could optimize our value chain process. Many other companies, such as Company L, Company H, and Company D, occupied the market we fit into throughout the simulation as well. As a result, we found areas that we would be able to optimize our outputs and inputs, which altered our strategy in the long run and made us a differentiator in the industry. When breaking down our ability to create value for our company, we primarily focus on interpreting and analyzing areas that our company could create a competitive advantage in. As seen in the graphic, our company was able to captivate the market by creating an impressive amount of revenue compared to our industry competitors. We also highlighted our credit rating as being near the top of the industry and our image rating, which is highest in the industry as well. Many of these metrics are how we interpreted our value chain and maximize our inputs and our outputs. This graphic serves as a picture of not only the success our company has had, but it also provides a year-by-year snapshot of some of the decisions we made and how it added value to our company. Each year, our revenues increased, our sales increased, and each of the last 4 years, our stock price increased as well. Some of the other metrics that were highlighted were our earnings per share and the steady increase we had over our 8-year segment, highlighted by earning an earnings per share of $8.46 in year 13. We also highlighted our impressive market share and strong finish in Latin America. Our company prided itself on maintaining a high market share in the international markets to overwhelm our competitors. We would also like to highlight how some of our decision making gained us market share from years 5 to year 6 in an impressive fashion. So this slide right here is going to give you a little bit of an idea of how we were able to increase our earnings per share, highlighted by a strong 3-year period from year 10 to year 12, as well as an impressive finish in year 13. As you can see, last graph, we had an increase of earnings per share each year. We ran the simulation that ended up getting us to the $8.46 mark with our earnings per share. So Austin on this slide later in the presentation is going to go ahead and dig a little deeper into PQ rating. But we did want to highlight how our strategy as a company changed and when we placed ourselves in the market as differentiators in year 8 and 9, and how we were able to maintain our position throughout the conclusion of the simulation, as you can see by the price and quality rating. In year 9, we were actually caught by making a mistake, but because of our ability to analyze competitors in our value chain, we were able to cut labor costs by around $150 by the time the simulation was finished. One of our other highlights from our value chain analysis that allowed us to have a competitive advantage in the industry was our operating profit. In both the camera and drone market segments, we were able to maximize profit and maximize profit margin because of the incremental increase we experienced each year and the decisions we made as a differentiator in the market. So as you can see in the graph right here, or in the segment right here, we were able to captivate the market share and kind of going back to what we talked about with market, operating profit in the market. You can see that we had an increase each year. So right here in these graphs, kind of showing a little bit of our competitive advantage, we were able to create market share and be a differentiator in the market while providing a high quality camera and operations to our customers, which we believe is a large reason why we're successful. Along with this, we had an extremely strong brand reputation and image rating, and our company was able to maximize our opportunities and create high quality product at a price that our customers were clearly more than happy with.
Thanks, John. This is Austin Eck, and I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about our performance. To start, I'd like to point out our strong spots. Two of our particular strong spots that we believe that we had were image rating and market share. So first, our image rating. As you can see, I boxed our image rating throughout the simulation. And as you can see right here, our average was tied with Group L for the highest average over the last 3 years. And our overall best in industry game to date score was at 20. This was definitely somewhere where we strive and something that we were constantly looking at
during the simulation was to keep high image rating.
As you can see here, this is the North American market for the camera segment. And if we take a look right here, our market share does tend to be pretty volatile in the camera market. And you can see that with direct correlation with changes in price and changes with quality. But even throughout the entire simulation, we were able to keep our market share over the average, especially in year 6, starting with a 13%. Obviously, our profit margin was too low, so we had to make some changes. But even throughout the simulation, the lowest we had was 8.7, and we were still able to finish with a 9.1. In the UAV drone segment in North America, you're able to see right here that we were able to keep a market share of double digits the entire simulation, with our lowest being the last period. This was a huge strength for us throughout this entire simulation. Weak spots of our performance, we particularly like to highlight that our return on equity and our stock price was weak spots for us, as well as our profit margin and expenditures. As you can see here, this is our return on equity over the course of the simulation. Our year 13 definitely did not help us. As you can see, we had a best in industry score of 9 out of 20, which was not strong, and our overall score was a 15. Again, this isn't too bad in the overall scheme of things, but it also was one of our weakest spots in terms of where we scored. As you can see, here's a 15, as well as our stock price. Our stock price also was very low. As you can see, Group C really dominated the market over the last 3 years, which really caused our stock price score to drop over time as we finished simulation as our best in industry average. Best in industry score on the game to date was 12, which was not strong. Another problem that we had, our group, was our profit margin. As you can see, I highlighted here our camera profit margin and our UAV profit margin over the course of the simulation. I don't think we really understood to start how big of a profit margin we really wanted. We were striving to keep a low price and a high quality, and we did a good job of doing that at the beginning. But as you can see, starting in year 6, our profit margin was very, very low. And over the course of simulation, as you can see, we continued to attempt to raise it. We had a little bit of a dip between year 8 and year 9. We continued to attempt to raise our profit margin, where we were able to raise all up to 23% about by the end of the simulation. So this was a huge focus for us because we started the simulation so poorly with our profit margin that we found ourselves most of the simulation trying to fight our way to get it higher while being able to keep a high market share. So next we would like to highlight the expenditures I was talking about earlier as one of our weak spots. So if you can see in the top right corner, this was year 9. In the 9th year of the simulation, we already had 525 workspaces and 519 workspaces installed. In year 13, at the final year, that was still at the industry high. We talked as a group. We don't really know what happened here. I think maybe our assumptions may have been misput, which caused the predictions to tell us to buy a lot more workstation spaces, which ended up not helping us in the long run. But we're not exactly sure what happened here. This was a huge problem for us going forward. We were never able to have enough demand to fulfill our entire workstation spaces. And this was a huge expenditure that we had a hard time with throughout the simulation. And to finish, this is our team's key reflections. First, we wish we would have started with a higher price. If we were able to start with a higher price at the beginning of simulation, we would have had room to continue to lower our PQ rating and lower our price throughout the simulation to continue to increase our market share. Our second reflection is to be careful with expenditures. We spent way too much money on camera workstations, and as a result, we had a hard time catching up with the other competition throughout the rest of the simulation whenever we made that decision. Our third reflection is teamwork. During our class period, all 3 of us were able to come together and make good decisions for the future of our company and have one like-minded goal. And because of this, we were able to be overall pretty successful throughout the simulation. Our last reflection is that business strategy is far from a video game. Video games very often have a 1, 2, 3 surefire way to win. We realized through the simulation that that's just not the case with business strategy. Going forward, if this simulation were to continue, we would try to find ways to continue to raise our profit margin. And that's the end of our presentation. Thanks for listening.